But I mean, now your level of PED use, I mean, it's very low. I mean, you talked about 50
course.
milligrams of test every third day, so 150 total per week. That's within the physiologic range. So, yeah, I don't think that's.
And I was really excited that, last time I got my blood back, because my testosterone levels have usually been like 700, 800. Well, on this last one, it was like 1,030 or something.
Really?
I was like, this is great.
From changing your diet.
It could be from some of the change in the diet. It could also have been timing.
Oh,
so sometimes,
yeah, that's a big swing, but sure.
I also may have taken the shot the day before.
Oh, right.
Or something like that. I don't think I took the shot the day of, but I think I did take a shot the day before. So
you do cypionate or propionate or?
I do testosterone, cypionate. I should probably get a propionate because it's just
short acting.
Yeah, it's shorter acting. And I know a lot of people like to do sub Q, but I always just go intramuscular. And yeah, I have told you before, I like Primabol and I like Masteron. Those are not things that you can get from a pharmacy.
And why do you like those two compounds?
I like those. I've always felt that testosterone is like the kind of the go-to to have as like the kind of main ingredient, and then having other stuff surrounding that. It's almost like what they've done with the GLP-1s. They now have because of the direct impact of Ozempic, and some of those things have been a little bit harsh on people's digestion and stuff like that. They now have you're going to start to see people stack these.
Oh yeah, with CCK or GLP-2 or other ones.
Right, and there's like retatrutide, which does works on three different things and stuff like that. And so
that makes more sense physiologically to me.
When it comes to like a steroid, like people don't usually just take growth hormone.
Right.
If they take growth hormone, they usually take insulin.
Correct.
And also you're trying to be, because growth hormone can cause some insulin sensitivity issues when you start taking the dosage that like a bodybuilder would take. And so those guys have to be very conscious of how do they take the growth hormone without having the negative impact. And they do some of that by doing cardio. They do some of that by actually utilizing insulin. They do some of that by having a lot of for as meathead as the sport is, like some of the stuff they do, not advisable, but some of the stuff they do is actually super interesting, and there's like so much science that goes into it.
For sure. The timing of everything and how much carbs you need to increase if you're on insulin.
Right.
Or, when you're on insulin because of the growth hormone, there's all that. Synergy is amazing. There's a lot of people doing peptides. I dabbled with CJC and Epimorelin during the wintertime.
I've never tried those.
Dude, your sleep is like so much. Every night, my dream recall,
dreaming about me.
It was wild. And then it got expensive. So I wanted to do 3 months and give it a go. And this was sub Q. I'm working with a doctor, by the way. But I have some friends who have done CJC and Epimorelin or Tesamorelin. They're similar. And their insulin is starting to creep up. That to me is a little interesting.
Yeah. The peptide world is an interesting one. I think one of the cool things about the peptides is that they're pretty benign, but that's the tricky part, is like you don't really know exactly what they do. In your case, that's amazing that it had a nice impact on your sleep, especially like right away. I wanted to post this video, but sometimes posting certain things you feel awkward about it. But I have this little tiny dog, this little tiny Yorkie, and he weighs like 4 pounds. And when we first got him, everything was okay. And then like 3-4 days later, he was just in tremendous amounts of pain. And he would not only like just like whimper and stuff, but he would like scream every day. Whoa. So some people are like, oh, well, maybe he has like separation anxiety or something. We're like, oh no, this is different. He'd like curl up and he'd round his spine and he looked like he was in like a lot of pain. Yeah. And so one of my friends was like, well, why don't you just hit him with BPC 157 and TB 500? And I was like, well, shit, anything's better than like watching him suffer like this, So my wife prepped the shots for him every day, and did it for like 5 or 6 weeks, and boom,
whoa,
gone. Wow. Now I don't know if it was from that, right?
Right.
Or was it just time? But we did see it slowly but surely like go away, and now the dog is totally fine. I mean, this was bad. This was really bad. We were talking about like
put him down maybe.
It's not fair to him.
Yeah.
We can't make him comfortable. We can't we'd hold them, we'd hug them, we'd squeeze them, we'd do all the stuff that you could try to. We couldn't console them, we couldn't calm them down, and it was super sad to see. And then that healed him that well. So these peptides are incredible, and I think I was listening to Dr. Mike Israetel, and he was like, he thinks 5 years from now there's just going to be stuff. And I think, you know, it's nice that we have PEDs and some of these things, but I think he's right. He, you know, coming down the pike is going to be some stuff that is going to probably blow testosterone and stuff out of the water. And also potentially, not that I think testosterone is tremendously safe. I actually think that a lot of steroids are really safe, and I'm sure, go ahead, you know, leave a comment below, go, you know, come at me, I don't care. They're awesome. You know, I'm not trying to sell them to people. I'm not trying to, like, you know, sit here and promote them and say that they don't have any negative side effects. But when taken appropriately, they seem, for me, it allows me to do a lot of the things that I love to do. And we all worked out yesterday together. I'm not I'm not some super freak when it comes to like being exponentially that much stronger than everybody. When I was powerlifting, I was able to like move some crazy weights, but that was very specific. I did those movements for a really long time, and I became an expert at those movements. And I basically mastered the squat, bench, and sort of the deadlift.
Sort of, what do you mean?
Well, the deadlift was, so interestingly enough, the deadlift was always my best lift raw, and before I ever got on anything, the deadlift was my best lift. I did a 633 deadlift, weighing right around 200 pounds. Natty. Whoa,
that's solid.
Yeah, that was a very good deadlift. And then I did a 766 deadlift, you know, wearing like I did sumo, wearing a squat suit and being all geared up and weighing like 300 pounds. So
the difference in the delta wasn't as much compared to the squat and bench changes.
Yeah, the squat and the bench, you know, I ended up squatting 1,080 and bench pressing 854 pounds. And this is back, you know, in the days when we wore equipment. Equipped powerlifting is dead. It's gone. You don't really see it anymore now. People lift.
All raw.
It's all raw lifting, knee sleeves or knee wraps people usually wear. So, but yeah, that was the only lifting that was really, not necessarily the only lifting that was available at the time, but well, it was the only lifting that was available at the time when I was doing it. Everyone just wore powerlifting equipment, powerlifting gear. Initially, the powerlifting gear was more protective. It was like, oh, just throw this on. It's going to help. So you're like, you know, you don't blow out like your groin or hamstring or something like that. And it was form-fitting and tight and supportive, and it allowed you to squat like 50 more pounds. But then over time, you know, manufacturers started making them thicker and started making them stronger, and then they could add, you know, 100 pounds and so forth.
Yeah. But going back to the PED thing, I do think that, you know, the conversation of steroids, it's confusing for a lot of people. And there are certain drugs that I would consider more benign than others. Like you mentioned Primobolan or Anavar. I don't take those and haven't, but I mean, I know a lot of people that do. But I think the problem is the C17 alkaloids, Dianabol, Anadrol, Winstrol, some of those, because they are harder on the liver.
Yeah.
But back to Mike, is it Israetel? Yeah, I think, you know, these steroids are kind of like a sledgehammer. You know, they hit anabolic pathways and increase DHT or testosterone depending upon the drug, and then that can be converted to estrogen and other things. But I think to his point, in 5 years we will have very specific you know, peptides that would only hit the androgen receptor, not be any conversion, and would bypass any hepatic or liver challenges.
Yeah, and people are now, you know, injecting DHT too, and they don't really, you know, it's hard to, that's in like beginning stages and beginning phases, and we don't know. The hard thing to do with any like substance, whether it's like fish oil or whether it's some of the stuff we're talking about, it's hard to figure out how to get the right amount to you, because like fish oil, I remember Charles Poliquin used to talk about having like 15 to 20 grams of fish oil a day. It's like, well, how the hell do you, I know you could have like salmon and stuff like that, but it's very difficult to like get those amounts. And then the same thing goes for like a steroid. Like to get certain amounts of these things could be very damaging in more ways than one. Like it could be catastrophic for your liver. It could be catastrophic for your kidneys. It could cause damage to your heart. It can also just be a super painful injection because you have to inject, you know, so much of it. So we're in an interesting time where people are starting to figure out how to tweak those things. And what I kind of hope happens, I hope that we get into a situation where if it is still like a shot or something like that, or maybe it turns into like a pill or something, would be really cool. But it'd be nice if that pill did a bunch of other stuff for you rather than just like raise your testosterone. Like imagine if you can, like whatever the super athlete is or whatever the superhuman is that we're looking to, I would imagine they have a cascade of hormones that tend to head in the right direction or are encouraged to go in the right direction with every single move they make every single day. Mm-hmm. That would be way more powerful than a steroid.
Well, for sure. And have everything in balanced proportion, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the downside of anabolics is they do affect your thyroid function. So some people do have hypothyroidism from some of the changes hormonally,
right.
You know? So for me personally, I mean, I want to stay natural. And I say natural, I did dabble with CJC and epimorelin in the winter.
Oh, the truth comes out.
So yeah, but I did 2 cycles in college, you know. So I did my first cycle when I was 20.
People always confess to me.
No, I've told
funny.
people about it. So I did, yeah, I went pretty big my first time around. A base of test, 600 I think it was 600 or 800 milligrams.
See, that was normal though.
Yeah, back then.
At the time, that was normal. Now
it's like 2 grams.
Now people people lose their mind if you tell them that you had 600 milligrams because they're used to hearing the TRT dosages.
For sure. But on a cycle, I mean, I had buddies and I read the Lewin's Anabolic Bible. So it was a base of testosterone, started out with D-bol, which is oral. I can't remember if it was 25 or 50 milligrams. I can't remember.
I'm so excited listening to this story, by the way.
and then DECA, 500 milligrams. And like, every time I went to the gym, I was gaining strength and weight. And I went
Feels
from
unbelievable, yeah.
190 to 240.
Holy shit.
It was stupid.
It was great.
It was wild. And then I, of course, crashed. I did all the PCT stuff, post-cycle therapy, Nolvadex and Clomid and HCG and all that. And then we were talking about tren. So then back then you can buy the conversion kit. So I started making Finna in my
Phenoplex,
fraternity house. And a few football players, I sold it to them, and they just got so jacked with no test, just the Finna.
And it was from the pellets, right?
Yeah, but there was a kit where you could pull out the stabilizers or the binders in it, and then re-inject sesame oil and sterilize it in the oven.
Oh, it's so good.
It was wild. And then my second cycle, I did a base of test. I think it was like 750. Tren every other day, 100 milligrams, and then started out with Winstrol injectable.
What is the deal with Tren?
Have you? It's insane.
Oh, I've taken Tren before. Yeah. Tren's
that drug
incredible.
Is wild.
I used that for my bodybuilding show. I mean, I think I took like 50 milligrams every other day, like 3 times a week or something. So like 150, maybe 200, depending on the week or whatever.
Yeah.
But one of my friends, Andy Triana, his name is Go Superbrain on Instagram. Andy has this whole presentation where he talks about trend brain, and it's super interesting. All hormones do this to you, like if women with estrogen, men with testosterone, and all these different hormones, they do a lot of different things to you. But he talks about how powerful trend is and how it just changes your perspective on the world. It changes everything. It changes your sense of smell. Huh. It changes some of your senses. There's something with like the olfactory nerve or whatever that nerve is. That's your sense of smell. But it's just super interesting how that, like, what is it about that? How does that drug work so well? It seems like it helps with like being able to store more glycogen. It seems like it helps with getting the body this like hard and muscular look. It's interesting. And it's also fascinating that no one's really figured out
how it works.
Anything similar that's like a little safer. That's maybe not as maybe toxic, I guess.
Yeah.